This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Agitavach, Agazunta Zumer. Many years ago, it was about 10 years ago, it was May 24th, 2011, maybe one of the first shiurim on Torah Anytime. We gave a shiur called Shavuos, Angels, and Cheesecake. And we brought a medrash quoted by the Das Academy Bali HaTosfos that when the Rebbe Shalom wanted to give the Torah to Klal Yisrael, so the Malachim interfered. The Malachim were makatrek. They said, "Give us the Torah. Why are you giving Klal Yisrael the Torah?" And the response that Hashem gave to the Malachi Hashares was, "Why should you get the Torah? You didn't keep the Torah. When you came to Avraham Avinu's house, Avraham Avinu served you basar v'chalav, and you were not zohir. So you didn't keep the Torah, but Klal Yisrael is so careful in the intricacies and the details of basar v'chalav." So if the whole reason we triumph the Malachim is because we know how to be Zahir in Chalav followed by Basar, so it's suggested in a number of Svarim, and at the time we quoted from 6 Svarim, from the Moyadim Uzmanim, in Siman Shin Yotes, from the Beis Halevi in Parshas Yisroi, from the Bnei Yisachar, the Ma'amorim of Chodesh, Kislev and Teves Maimer Gimel, from the Ber Heitev in Siman Tav Tzadi Daled, from the Sefer Taras Chaim and Ba'Metzia Daf Peivav, and from the great Makubal of Shimshon Me'ash Chapoli in the Dan Yadin Maimer Yud Beis Ois Chaf Aleph, they all suggest as follows: that if the whole reason we triumphed over the Malachim is because we know how to be Zahir and Basar V'chalav, so this is another reason, or maybe a primary reason, for the minhag of eating milchiks on Shavuos. The minhag then is not just to eat dairy, the minhag is to eat dairy and follow the requisite halachas. In other words, between cheese and meat, one has to rinse out their mouth, eat something, and wash their hands. And we show that we know how to be Zohar in contradistinction to the Malachim, who had their chance and they blew it in the tent of Avraham Avinu. This was the pshat that we said over many years ago. So I was thinking this Shavuos, it comes out very interesting that the whole reason that we were Zohar to get the Torah is because we know how to be Zohar in Basar B'chalav and the angels not. But, Dvarim Gedolim Einam B'Mikra, such an important victory cannot just happenstance and coincidentally have occurred through Zahiros and Basar B'chalav. What is so intrinsic about Basar B'chalav that because we know how to be Zohar and they don't, therefore we got the Torah? I mean, technically it could have been any Zahiros that we had over the Malachim. Why did it play out? Why was the Hashgacha such that it played out Dafka through Basar V'chalav? We all know that another taina of the Malachim was that the Malachim said we should get the Torah because we are Hashem's neighbors, and when you sell something you have to give it to the neighbor, Dina de Bar Metzra, and we were only able to overcome that because we are Banim Lashem, and even though when you sell something it goes to the neighbor first, but a child has first rights. Amazingly, in the Sefer Nefesh Chaim of Rav Chaim Falaji in his 36 different areas with which we see that we are Banim Lamakom, one of them is Achila, but not just any Achila. Mi she'enoi oichel basar b'chalav ikri ben lahakadosh baruch hu. Someone who doesn't eat basar b'chalav is called a child to Hashem. And this comes from the Zayar in Parshas Mishpatim, Daf Kuf Chav Hey, where the Zayar says that if one is not Zahir in Loisavasha Gedi B'chalev Imai, one is connected to Tumah, but one who is Zahir in Basar B'chalav, we could apply the pasuk Banim Atem Lashem Lekechem. So can we suggest that because we were Zahir in Basar B'chalav and the Malachim not, that demonstrates we're Banim and the Malachim are not Banim, and in that case we have the right to the Torah and the Malachim cannot say we're the neighbor because we could say we're the child. And maybe if the Malachim would say, well, who says you're a child more than we are? So that we dafka point to Basar B'chalav because Basar B'chalav demonstrates we are Banim and the Malachim are not Banim. Wishing everyone a good tavach, a gezunta zomer, bracha v'hatzlacha.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.